One guy in the book, working in the book, says, Dave, what are you going to do? Everybody wants to know in town. I heard you talking to a bunch of people. What are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to let God tell me what to do. And I said it real flippantly, but I said it. And he's like, oh, all right, well, let me know because we'll hire you here. I'm like, cool. Go home September 10th, finish out the day, hang up with a guy at 1 o'clock in the morning talking about the next day's games. September 11th, Friday, I wake up, say goodbye to my wife. I'm on the couch, 7:15. I fell asleep on the couch. I woke up. She leaves for work, says I'm leaving. I go to say have a good day, and I put my hand up, and I can't talk. Nothing comes out. I'm like, and she waved, grabbed the keys, and left. And I was like, why couldn't I say anything? That was really weird. Now, my 6-year-old at the time is at the table eating a bowl of Fruit Loops, getting ready for school. And I'm like, well, fuck, that was weird. What was that? I just couldn't talk. So I'm on the couch. I go to roll over and plug my phone in because it fell off the charger. I cannot get the phone in the charger. Cannot figure out why. I can see it, and I can't get my fucking phone in the charger. And I'm like, man, something's wrong. I don't know what's up, but something's not right. So I struggle a little, get to my feet, and I don't want to alarm my 6-year-old. So I take 10 steps and walk to my front porch, and I open the door. Probably a bad move looking back, but I didn't know what to do. And I try to dial my wife on the phone. It's a one button. She's on the favorites. I just usually touch it. I can't fucking get it to dial. I'm like staring at the phone. I'm swiping screens. I'm like, why can't I call her? What's wrong with me right now? So I end up hitting 100 different buttons, and somehow I called her. She answered the phone. She's gone 12 minutes. She's like, what do you want? I just left. And I'm like, I can't talk.
Fuck.
She's like, what's wrong with you? She kept saying, and I don't know what I said exactly, but she knew. She hung up the phone. She called my oldest daughter, who's now 17.
And were you standing and stuff, or like?
I was standing, was walking around, and I was very aware of what was going on, but I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what. So my 17-year-old comes down the stairs. I come back in the house, and she looks at me, and she goes, what is wrong with you, you jagoff? Literally, she said it like that, like casually, because I got her up a half hour before she needed to get up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she's like, what is wrong? And I was like, and I was trying to express that I couldn't talk, but I didn't know how to. And I literally felt like I was a prisoner in my own body, dude. I felt like I was watching a movie. And I saw the look on her face, and she's like, something's up. She sends her little sister upstairs and says, go play Fortnite in my room and shut the door. And she's like, what about school? She's like, school's canceled right now. Just go in your room. So she puts her in her room, signs her on a Fortnite. She's in her room. She gets her sister, who's 16 or 15 at the time, comes downstairs, and they're like, Daddy, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm trying to express something. I cannot talk. They're like, lay down on the couch and just breathe. We got you. And they took over, and they were so calm. And they called their mother, and they're like, something's wrong with Daddy. And well, what's wrong with him? Ask him. He said he won't talk. He can't talk. He keeps waving at us. And I was getting frustrated, dude. I'm looking at them going like this with my hands, like you can't see it on the podcast, but I'm looking at you and I'm trying to voice like. So they called 911. 911 shows up at my house. Tremendous guys. 4 guys walk in. I'm laying on the couch, and I'm trying to keep my daughters calm. Meanwhile, they're keeping me calm. And I'm like, these guys walk in. They're like, what's wrong with you, sir? And I'm like, So he goes, ask me 4 questions. 4 questions. First one, say your name. For $1 million, Adam, I couldn't say Dave. Couldn't say it. I look at him. I'm like, he goes, smile. Can't smile. Stick your tongue out. Can't stick my tongue out. He grabs my right arm like this and says, whose arm is this? I stare at this, and I'm like, I just stared at it. He goes, he's having a stroke. Let's go. Get him on the bus.
Fuck, man.
And I'm like, who's having a stroke? I remember looking around going, wait, talking about me? I'm having a stroke? What does that mean? So my daughters, they're just calm as could be. They're like ice in their veins. And I'm like, holy shit. They're like, lay down, sir. They got me on a stretcher. Take me out the front step, 2 steps down to the street, in the ambulance. First door shuts. As the second door is shutting, my 15-year-old collapses in her sister's arms. And I see them start to cry like something's fucked up. And I'm like, oh my God, who's going to take care of my kids? Like, what's going on? So the door shuts, the sirens start going.
And
This
you
woman,
were like fully conscious too, like you
fully
didn't.
conscious. I remember it like it was
That's
like yesterday. I'm watching. I see it all. So I'm driving in an ambulance. I'm going side to side like this. The sirens are going, and I remember laying there. And this woman, the EMT, is telling me, "Just breathe, Dave. Everything's fine. We got you." And I remember her visually as being like a biker chick, tattoos, earrings, all this stuff, sleeve of tattoos on her arms, and all this stuff. I end up meeting her later. She's blonde hair, blue eyes. It's so I see this vision of this woman. It's nothing who she is, nothing. I get to the hospital. They wheel me in. My wife flew there, driving fast. She saw me go in. I don't remember seeing her. They take me in. I get a CT scan, an MRI, something. Within 20 minutes, I'm laying on a table. I see two things. The foot of my bed, there's a guy. Looks like he's 75 years old. White hair, white jacket, white pants. He's the quarterback. He's pointing at everybody, telling everybody what to do. There's people above me moving all over the place. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Are this all for me? I'm like, boy, I must be really fucked up. Like I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, man, there's a lot of people in this room right
yeah.
now. And then the second thing I see at the foot of my bed is one of the most beautiful, stunning women I've ever seen in my life. She is gorgeous. She's probably 23 years old, perfect skin, brunette, black top scrubs, black bottom scrubs. Okay. And I look at her and I go, man, that girl is beautiful. I wonder how old she is. She can't be much older than my girls. I'm like, oh yeah, my girls. Oh my God, who's taking care of my girls? Boom, fade to black. Done. I'm like, okay. So I'm out, right? While I'm out, I remember like this was yesterday. And this is one of the craziest stories you'll probably ever hear, but it's 100% true. Because when I woke up, I told it and I wrote it. I got these glasses. You can't see them for people that aren't watching. These are my Nike softball coaching sunglasses. I wear them every single day of my life because my light eyes, I got blue eyes. In Vegas, it's sunny 335 days a year. I can't see without them. I'm under and I see this light. This fucking light is shining right in my eyes. And it is perfect. It's sunny, but it ain't hot. It's perfect. It's like 72 degrees. Perfect day. And I'm looking, I'm squinting. I can't see. I'm like, where the fuck are my glasses? I was going like this with my hand. Can't see it. I'm like, what is that? Coming out of the light, my dad. My dad walks right to me. My dad's been gone 8 years. My best friend in life. He was the best man at my wedding. He was my guy. I mean, his name was Elliot. I called him Big E, and I was Elliot's son for 40 years. I mean, I didn't even mind. I mean, it was a good thing. So here comes Big E, and I'm like, Dad, what's up? And this isn't the dad that passed away 8 years ago. That had a brain tumor, was incontinent, was sick. This was 1978. His beard was perfect. He was coaching my little league team. He was teaching me how to pitch. He was big and strong. I'm like, man, you look great. What's up? We hugged and just sat down and started talking. And it was amazing. It was just, I think about it now, I get kind of choked up and I'm just like, this is unbelievable. Like, Dad, where have you been? He passed away in his sleep in Arizona. I never got to see him after he passed. And my mom, they agreed to be cremated, so I never saw him. And probably off and on in the back of my mind all this time, doing all this booking games and all this stuff, always wondering, I hope Dad's okay. I talk to him every day anyway. I used to talk to him every day when I was at school, when I was in Curacao, 3 times a day, morning call, midday call, evening call, every day. Yeah, every day.
Damn.
Even for years. I'd be 40 years old, call my dad. So we sit down, we talk. And nothing particular. He asked about the kids. He asked about my brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest of 5. He asked about my mom. How's everybody? It's just everybody's good. Blah, 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 blah. How are you? I'm great. All right, it's time to go. Are you ready to go? And I'm like, Stand up. I said, Dad, I can't go. I got to go back. Jess and the girls need me. Jess is my wife. I got 3 daughters, Kylie, Kelsey, and Kendall. I'm like, the girls need me, Dad. I got to go. And he goes, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. So why don't you come with me? They'd love to see you. They miss you. And he's like, yeah, I can't go back. But I got to tell you something. I'm like, what? He goes, stop Grizzying. Stop Grizzying. And that was his expression back in the day. That's Grizzying is worrying. He said, stop fucking worrying. Tell your brothers, tell your sisters, tell your mother, tell everybody. Stop worrying. It's going to be okay. He said, Dad, it's been rough, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. He's like, Dave, I'm telling you, it's going to be okay. I'm good. Don't worry about me anymore. Go for it. And I'm like, okay. He goes, all right, I got to go.
What?
Said,
so what was the environment like?
I'm telling you, it was like, all I remember was it was as green a grass as could possibly be. The sky was perfectly blue, and it was literally, I was warm and comfortable.
But was it more like a feeling than being able to see? Like, could you see what you look like, or like?
I couldn't see what I looked like. I could see him. I could see it was like we were standing next to me right now, like we're talking just like this. And when we stood up and he told me that stop worrying, I was like, okay. And then we had a thing. I was the first one to go to college, and it fucked him up more than me. But like, we never said goodbye. We always said see you later. That was what we did. So he stood up. I asked him if he wanted to come with me. He said he couldn't. He said, are you sure you don't want to come with me? I said, it's not time. I can't. He said, okay, I understand. I'll see you later. And I said, all right, Dad, I'll see you later. I love you. We hugged. He started walking away. He started walking toward this light. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, Dad, wait, don't go. And I start shaking my head side to side, shaking my head violently side to side. I'm like, Dad, wait, don't go. I wake up and I'm shaking my head side to side, physically shaking my head side to side. I wake up and I'm like, open my eyes. And I'm like, where the fuck am I? And what was that? I swear to God. So I'm laying in a dark room covered in a sheet, and my arms were across me like this, like sitting like this. And I'm like, I'm dead. I gotta be dead. I'm dead. That was amazing. Like, Dad's okay. So I'm not wearing a hat at the time. So I'm laying there like this. I reach up my right hand and touch my head. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm freezing. I'm ice cold. I'm fucking freezing. Wherever I'm at is freezing. And I was just really warm. So I'm like, where am I at? I can't really see anything. It's very dark where I'm at. So I blurt out, what the fuck just happened? And I go, I can talk. Holy shit, I can talk. And I'm screaming like a maniac, right? I'm talking and I'm excited. 10 seconds later, a little dude comes running in the room. He's like 5'3". He's got a hazmat suit on from here down, from his nose down. He's wearing a hazmat suit. I see a tuft of hair, little glasses, circle glasses, and black Nike shoes. I notice it all as he comes in. He's like, David, do you know where you're at? And I'm like, no, I hope I'm in a hospital. Where am I? And he goes, you're at Centennial Hills Hospital. You had a major stroke. You had a blood clot on your brain. The doctors operated and think you're going to make a full recovery. They said the surgery went as well as it could have. And I looked at this guy and I go, what'd you say your name was? He goes, Giampaolo, but my friends call me GP. I looked right at this guy, Adam, and I go, listen, I love the name Giampaolo. It's a beautiful Italian name. I'm going to call you Giampaolo. I really appreciate you telling me that. Where's my wife and kids? And he goes, well, because of COVID, you cannot come in. But how do you feel? You're talking very well. And I'm like, dude, I feel great. Like, let's go. And he's like, wow, you really are talking good. I'm like, yeah. So the next 15 minutes is a whirlwind. There's people coming in, people coming out, the admitting nurse, the speech therapist, the physical therapist, then the brain guy comes in. He's 32 years old. He looks like he's 12. He's like, hi, I'm Dr. Zog. I operated on your brain, dude. I got to tell you, what I saw takes people out. but your daughter saved your life.